Hey guys, Disloader Magic here, and some pretty big news in the trading card game world today, compliments of Blizzard. Now, if you thought that Wizards of the Coast, the of course owner of Magic the Gathering, was the only company capable of, on a recurring basis, putting their foot in their mouth, to put it politely, or to put it more accurately, repeatedly and consistently making decisions that piss off the entire customer base and enrage everybody, clearly you haven't been following Blizzard for the last couple years because, oh my gosh, Blizzard lately has been the epitome of the sarcastic advice that if you're going to screw up, at least do it big. So during, I believe it was the live stream for Grandmasters Season 2, a pro player named, I don't know how to pronounce that, so we'll say Mr. Chung, he had expressed his support for the Hong Kong protesters, which are, by the way, on the right side of morality and the law. They're just trying to get, initially, I know it's a little bit bigger than this now, but they were trying to get, basically an extradition bill squashed because it was just BS. It would just let China say, here, kidnap this person on Hong Kong and bring him back to China to face charges. That's pretty much what it was. It would just be a bunch of trumped up BS, and once they get to China, boom, that's it. So yeah, easy to see who's in the right and who's in the wrong on this particular protest. So Mr. Chung put on a gas mask, which is like kind of a symbol for the Hong Kong protesters because they keep hitting them with tear gas. And I mean, I will say that it was against the rules for Chung to do this. Now, the rule, the actual written rule for the competition and for the stream from Blizzard is ridiculous, but I have to say that technically he was violating one of the rules in doing this. But the actual rule that Blizzard said he's in violation of reads, engaging in any act that, in Blizzard's sole discretion, brings you into public disrepute, offends a portion or group of the public, or otherwise damages Blizzard's image, and that will result in the removal from the Grandmasters and reduction of the player's prize total to $0 USD, which is what happened to him. He got kicked out and his prize money was taken away. So Chung's response was basically, I don't care, I expected they would do this and I don't regret what I did. Honorary Pimp Awesome Baller status on the Disloader Magic channel for the day to Mr. Chung. So even though the response from the two hosts of the live stream were like, oh my gosh, he really shouldn't be doing this, they didn't support him at all. In fact, they hid under the desk, kind of like as a comedy thing, sort of. They got fired too, I heard. They didn't go along with it, they didn't plan it, and they didn't know what to do, and they didn't support it, and somehow they're still fired because Blizzards is so paranoid, or Blizzards, they should have named it Blizzards. Blizzard, is so afraid of losing money and getting their games banned in China because it's such a huge amount of income that they'll do anything the Chinese government tells them to. So they're using this, on the surface reasonable rule to just enforce a bunch of human rights violating assholes over in China, as usual. So why am I covering this on a Magic the Gathering channel? Well, it's because on Reddit, the r/Hearthstone subreddit is just being bombarded, absolutely bombarded with people saying, I support what Chung did, I support what he said, screw you, Blizzard. And en masse, they're all basically saying we're going to go play MTG. Specifically, probably MTG Arena. I would assume they're not going to MTGO. But either way, a lot of them are just like, I'm quitting. And a lot of the people who are saying I'm quitting are saying, I'm actually going to go play the number one competitor. And honestly, with the massive mismanagement of Hearthstone in the last year and a half to 2 years, where they just have made the game more and more expensive to play with more expansions, more closely together. It's just priced everybody out of it. Everybody's pissed, and the meta is so stale. They haven't banned anything correctly, and they're printing overpowered cards. Sound familiar? At least when they get over to MTG Arena, they'll be very used to that. Oh, with Wizards of the Coast in charge, that won't be anything new for them, but at least Wizards of the Coast doesn't give a crap about China to this extent that we've seen so far. Now, that said, the game is pretty big in China, and they make a lot of money there. So I think they're just staying out of it, and if anything like this happens, they're probably just going to ignore it and not mention it. Because if Arena and Paper Magic gets banned in China, that's bad. But they did just print that ridiculous pandering set with Jiang Yangu and the other Mu Yan Lang or whatever in China to say, ooh, Chinese culture, yay, buy our stuff. So they're like, yeah, China's kind of a gold mine. Let's kind of do that. But they're not dug in like esports are. I mean, esports in China, South Korea, Japan, pretty much all across Asia, they are huge. So with Hearthstone being exclusively electronic, Blizzard could lose a lot of money if the Chinese government just flips a switch and says, hey, this is the, this is what we're doing about this. This is the consequences for allowing this on one of your biggest streams on the biggest tournament. As if they had anything to do with it. So yeah, they're just like, no, we're kicking him out, taking away the prize money. He shouldn't have done this. We don't condone this, blah, 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 blah. Keep giving us money. So they're just a mouthpiece puppet for the Chinese government censorship, propaganda bullshit machine. And why? What's the motivation? Money, which makes it even worse. Kind of ironic when you consider that in most Blizzard games, especially World of Warcraft, the vast majority of the cheater accounts, the bots, and the exploit users, that kind of stuff, are Chinese. Now, it's more gold farming than, legitimate players, but still, I mean, in prisons in China, they have them farm gold in World of Warcraft. I am not kidding, that is a real thing. Which is against the terms of service, but Blizzard pretty much just looks the other way because they want Chinese customers. They don't want to say anything bad about them, they don't want to stop them, they don't want to really do anything to get kicked out of China because China, big money. Which is ridiculous, utterly ridiculous. So to everybody on the Hearthstone subreddit that says I'm going to go play Magic, welcome! This is pretty much the best Magic channel, in my own opinion. But seriously though, I'm one of the few YouTubers that has a pretty big following, pretty big amount of subs, views, and especially view time, who is utterly blacklisted by Wizards of the Coast because I will not toe the line, I will not say what they want me to say, I will not refrain from saying, criticizing things of them when they screw up. And I'm not going to go along with their political propaganda and activist bullshit. So at the end of the day, Wizards of the Coast is kind of doing the exact same thing that Blizzard is, just to a lesser extent and only in America, and with political and moral stuff instead of direct protest related stuff. But it's the same thing. I mean, if you're new to this and you're watching this video, the head of the judge program said we don't want any more white males in the judge program. We have too many already. Okay, that's just the tip of the iceberg. They are far left SJW activist, racist, sexist nutjobs who discriminate against basically all religions. They are absolute assholes. They really aren't any better than Blizzard, but at least they haven't done anything blatantly pro-China yet. That said, Magic the Gathering is still a better game than Hearthstone. It's mismanaged, but it's not mismanaged to that degree. Or if you're wondering, the crown still goes to Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh my gosh, you can't mismanage a game more than that. It's not mathematically possible. I mean, Legend of the Five Rings was mismanaged less and they don't exist anymore. Hell, Crimson Verse was mismanaged a little bit less and they aren't even real. Shout out to the 3 people who got that reference. Don't Google it, it's not worth your time. That's a 1-hour rabbit hole. You just don't even wanna. So yeah, in summary, screw Blizzard. Wizards isn't really that much better. But Magic's a better game anyway, and Arena costs basically $0. You could legitimately play it for $0 or pretty damn close to it. So I mean, I say, hey, come on over. Oh, by the way, the gaming community as a whole is actually giving Blizzard even more backlash than just the Hearthstone players, because remember, not everybody who plays Hearthstone, especially in America, follows the Chinese players at the large tournaments, but everybody in the electronic gaming world follows when Blizzard screws up. So actually, the Hearthstone Reddit is still up and running. The Blizzard subreddit has been completely locked down. It is not functional. It's basically closed. Because it was probably about 99% backlash and just people just trashing them, whether they play Hearthstone or not. And they should. They should get public backlash because it seems like a no-win situation. The NBA is in the same thing. The Hotel Marriott or whatever, they said something wrong that pissed off China and they had to post an apology that pissed off everybody else in the world because it was more we're going to bow to political propaganda requirements. It's all for money. It's all just for profits and money. So the solution is don't expand your business into China in the first place. That is the right thing to do in this scenario. Because they're hyper-controlling assholes who will ruin your business and tell you what to do. And at the snap of a finger, they can basically kick you out of China, remove your business permit, and make your website blocked, stop your whole entire service, and that's that. That is too dangerous and too stupid. So what Blizzard could have done is sided with Chung in this one and said, no, we do support what he said, and then instantly have Hearthstone banned in all of China and lose billions of dollars of income. Or realistically, tens of millions to maybe several hundred million. Or they could do what they do and throw them under the bus, say we don't support this and we're banning him, and piss off the entire rest of the world and lose them as customers. Oh, it's a no-win situation, right? Wrong. What they need to do is not have gone into China in the first place, which obviously then would require a time machine. But welcome to 2019, where no business in their right mind is expanding into China because they're eventually going to run into a problem. You have to do what they say, and you have to, play ball with their ridiculous PR machine and propaganda bullshit in order to maintain a business in China, and it can all be taken away literally overnight. So the solution is have a little bit of foresight and a little bit less greed, and don't operate in China in the first place. Also, Chinese business people are very famous for ripping off people whenever possible. They will lie, they'll steal money, they'll steal property, they'll bribe officials to get like property deeds changed, they'll sell your intellectual property to competitors for bribes. So with all the immorality and greed over in China that extends completely complacently into the business world and nobody's there to stop it, you'd basically have to be out of your damn mind to have a Chinese branch of pretty much anything. So if you run any kind of company that does anything, boycott China. Do not even touch them in the first place. So Blizzard just backed themselves into a corner and they are going to pay for this literally. I encourage everyone to play either Magic the Gathering or any other game, not even necessarily a card game. Just go on Steam and find something other than Hearthstone. We need to send them a message and we need to hit them where it hurts in the pocketbook, because this is almost like a vote with your wallet situation, but even further. If they figure out that getting banned in China will cost X, but oh look, we're losing 1.5 times X by pissing off the entire rest of the world, they're just going to be like, well, screw China then, and apologize, get the customers back, hopefully, and just, oh well, I guess we're banned in China, whatever. We lost less money by going that route. Because remember, in the business world, when you're a big enough company as Blizzard, and you're managed by people with no morals at all that only care about money, whichever the route is that loses the less money, they're going to pick that one, no matter what's right or moral or anything else. So the only way to get them to go a different direction and stop bowing to China is to make them lose so much money that it's not financially viable to keep China happy. And plus, all the Hearthstone players in China use a VPN anyways. It's not like you're really going to lose all of them if China bans your game. Nobody's just going to say, oh, well, there goes my collection, all my progress in my number one favorite game. No, they're not going to jump on a VPN and you'd probably lose 10% of your money. So it's pretty clear what Blizzard needs to do. But if everybody's all talking, they're like, I'm switching games, I'm never playing Hearthstone again, and then they don't, and they continue to purchase products and it's all talk, nothing is going to get done. Nothing. So that's the wonderful news for today. Once again, welcome to all the Hearthstone refugees coming over to Magic. Don't forget to tell Wizards what you think of them every time they put their foot in their mouth as well. And I'll see you guys next video.